Welcome to the Factor Uncensored. Now, usually we all celebrate when we hear people get a new gig, a new job. But Coach Prime's new gig has a lot of people taking sides on this issue. Now, if you've been spending the weekend under a rock, let's play some catch up. Coach Deion Sanders, a former football player and flamboyant superstar in the NFL, is no longer coach of the Jackson State football team, a historically black college and university. He said, "We needed to push and support." Sanders took a new gig at Colorado, a huge pay raise. He was offered $29.5 million for the job. Has your jaw dropping, right? He made $300,000 a year at Jackson State. We're sure his decision to break his 4-year deal with Jackson State has been all over your social media page. We asked, how do you feel about it? Or on our own Instagram page, an overwhelming majority of you agreed that he made the right choice taking the job. But there's a lot of complexity behind feelings on both sides. Let's talk about it. Todd Smith, Barry Laminack, Kim Davis, and Shanita Smith are all here. Shanita, you're representing the HBCU, Southern University. So first of all, your thoughts on him walking away from Jackson State University. Now we see the salaries.
Selfishly, I would have loved for him to stay at Jackson State because I think he did a great job for the program, but ultimately for the SWAC. But for $5 million, I'll walk away too. I mean, we have to take ownership of our own programs and not put the onus on someone else. I think it's very important what he's done for us, and I say us because a lot of people hadn't heard of the SWAC.
Right.
And now they're very familiar with the SWAC. But we've got to take the SWAC back and own up to our responsibility and do what we need to do to recruit the kind of young men that we want to play in our athletic programs, as well as the young ladies.
Todd, do you think you will ever be able in the SWAC, representing HBCU too, ever be able to afford a salary like that or pay coaches what they need to stay in place?
I don't think you can afford what he's getting paid at Colorado, but we can afford more if more people give back. Like Shanita said, it's on us to represent the SWAC and do what's best for the SWAC and not put the onus on one person. A lot of people have criticized Prime for saying that he's going to do something for the community, and when the money came, he took off and ran. But a lot of us say the same thing. We're on social media, we talk about the community, and we need to do this for the black HBCUs and the black community, but a lot of us don't put our dollars where our mouths are. So if we take the responsibility and put it on ourselves, I think we can make a difference. But I think he started a movement. But if we look at black history, movements were not always centered around just one person. You had people behind the scenes. When somebody might have stepped aside or died, you had somebody to take that mantle. The civil rights movement didn't end when King died. It continued with Abernathy and Jesse Jackson. So we need to take what Prime did and use it to our advantage. I'll tell this one quick story. A lot of times, HBCUs don't think that they can get those top-notch athletes because we have that complex that, oh, they don't want to go there. I had a cousin who was a first-team All-State player out of Glen Oaks High School in Louisiana, James Vernon. Southern didn't recruit him. He had to recruit Southern. Our family went to Southern. He always wanted to play for Southern. They didn't think they could get him. So you have to get out of that mentality that we can't get the top players. Some of those players want to go to HBCUs, but they don't think, since they're not getting the phone calls, oh, they don't want me. If we go after those players, we don't have to rely on Prime. Take them to Homecoming, take them to the Bayou Classic, take them to the Circle City Classic. A lot of those top-notch athletes will come to HBCUs without the flamboyant coach.
Kim Davis, Chalk Talk, sports journalist. Do you think Deion did the right thing, Coach Prime?
Absolutely. You know, he did the right thing for him and for his family. You know, you look at what Deion did for Jackson State and for SWAC and putting kind of a spotlight on HBCUs. Who's done that in a while, right? That was awesome. So the key is to pick up the mantle where he left it and to build on it. We can't have a different set of rules for Deion Sanders and for any other coach at other universities, right? Because he, I would dare to say, left Jackson State in a better position than when he got there. And so he's moving on. Who's the next person that's going to step up? How is Jackson State going to build on that? What is the SWAC going to do to say, okay, we've gotten this little bit of notoriety. How do we build on that? How do we, go out and make sure that we sustain a good television package. And you've got to get all of your universities, all of your member institutions, like Shanita said, to do more, to do better. You've got to recruit. You've got to, you've got to build. It's a huge gap. But what Deion showed is, okay, there's some things that can be done if there's a commitment. And we've got to work together collectively.
All right, let's bring Barry Lamanick, sports personality, into this. Your thoughts on Deion's decision?
I think it was the right decision. I mean, look, coaches do this all the time, like Kim said, so it shouldn't be a different set of rules for Deion Sanders because he has the opportunity. It surprised me, I'm not going to lie. I thought the next step would have been for him to go to Florida State where he graduated. So it seemed like you go to a program that won 1 game this year and lost 11, and it's just been one of the worst football programs in the country. And I get it, it's a Power 5 and it's a D1 school, but I feel like Deion had kind of proved himself and he had showed that. I mean, the way he recruited at Jackson State lends itself to make you believe that he could recruit anywhere, and even at Florida State. So that would have made more sense to me, and I think some people that are not liking the move maybe could have dealt with it had it been something like a Florida State, an alma mater of his. So this just kind of seemed like out of the blue, but I don't knock him. I mean, he got the money, and I think part of it, if you know Deion, I think some of it was he got his coaches paid. Like those guys weren't making much money at all either at Jackson State. So for him to get his entire coaching staff paid, some of those guys that were at Jackson State now are going to hit the transfer portal. They're going to be playing at a D1 school because of him. So
and we're going to talk more about that when we come back. What happens to the recruits that Deion Sanders brought there, and will that hurt recruitment in the future? Don't go anywhere. We'll be continuing this discussion here on The Factor Uncensored. And don't forget, we have a brand new spanking Instagram page. You've already have that phone out. Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Deion Sanders has officially cut ties with Jackson State's football program. Coach Prime is now in Colorado, serving as Colorado's university's new head coach. The decision has caused a lot of controversy on social media. We're continuing our conversation with our guest here, Barry. We were talking about the recruitment effort and how Deion Sanders stepped up the game for HBCUs. First of all, what about those athletes that he recruited there? Will they stay there? Will they follow him? What's the situation?
I think a lot of them are going to want to follow him, and I think it's a great opportunity for them. I think if you saw the different videos that he had, one, he talked to the team and said, hey, don't jump ship. You know, this is a great program, and you guys should consider staying here. But at the same time, he went to Colorado and said, everybody can be cut. And so I think that's kind of a message to folks at Jackson State that, look, you know, there's the opportunity to come and play for me here. And it should be, because, again, the rules shouldn't be different because he's Deion, and the rules shouldn't be different because it's an HBCU. If those kids can transfer out, they absolutely should.
What do you see happening, Kim Davis?
So today the transfer portal opened, and there were, I think,
and for those who don't know what that is.
For those who don't know, it's now a college football player can put himself in the portal and say, I wanted to go someplace else. I'm open. And 753 or 35 jumped in the portal today. And that's not all from Jackson State. Right. That's what's happening in college football. And so I think I agree with what Barry said. There'll be some players that go with him. There'll be some that stay. And when he went to Colorado, what he said to his new team is that, listen, if you don't want to do what we're going to do here, then get in the portal. Although it was reported that he said, everybody's got to go. That's not what he said. He said, if you don't want to do this, you might want to hop in the portal. So I don't think it's going to...
That's still kind of cold-blooded.
Well, he's giving you a shot. Look, they open it up. If you want to go, you might want to go ahead and jump in today. I think the key is that it's an opportunity for Deion, and it's not just Deion. It's his coaches he made space for. You know, look at the facility. There's so many reasons to go.
He also mentioned crime a lot in Jackson.
He did mention crime a lot.
On October 17th, because I remember it was my birthday, he said, stop all the killing here in Jackson.
I think he had a good relationship with the mayor, not so much with the governor. I mean, I think there's a lot to go into it. And it's been a while. For those of us who are a little more seasoned, we remember Colorado used to recruit Houston very heavily. He's going to be able to recruit the entire country. He's going to be one of the best recruiters around. It's not going to take him that long to turn that program around. So good for Deion, and good for HBCUs to pick up the mantle and build on what he started.
Absolutely, and that's my point. We have to build on what he has started. This does not just catapult the SWAC, but look at the coaches, doors that he's opened for coaches, black coaches. But you know, I feel like what Deion has done, I feel like, you know, Dooley at Southern can do.
Yeah.
I feel like Prairie View's coach can do. Texas Southern, Michael Strahan is a Texas Southern graduate. Why isn't he on the sideline with Texas Southern's players? He was on the sideline with Jackson State. So let's capitalize on this instead of complain about it. Let's do something.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, please.
What he did was, I mean, there's a lack of coaching, a lack of black coaches all throughout college football. So what Deion did was just change the game totally. You have a lot more former athletes getting an opportunity, not just in football. You have Mo Williams, you have Reggie Theus, who has experience as a coach, going to HBCUs, getting that experience. And Deion going to a Power 5, there are not that many African-American coaches in Power 5 schools. So he's kicking down some more doors and stuff like that. But like Shanita said, everybody has to pick up the mantle. We can't rely on just one person. Michael Strahan is charismatic. You can go to get a T.O. T.O. was going to do some work with Deion's staff. Use some of those other athletes that the young people look up to and just carry the tradition that Deion started.
The problem is, though, is that Deion, the reason he was such a great recruiter is because he's prime time. All the names that you said are great, but they're not prime time, and kids aren't dying to go play for Deion. I mean, for those, they want to go play for Deion because of who he is. He relates to these kids on a whole different level than all of those names, and that's why you said T.O., but where was T.O. going? To work with Deion. I mean, so I agree with you guys that, you know, somebody needs to pick it up, but you've got to be able to relate to the kids and get them to go there.
All right, we want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. Great job, and we'll be back with